Right, so what is up guys, SD Peasy here, and today we're going to be talking about my club Chelsea and their current transfer news slash rumours that have been going around recently across the media and of course the football world. I think there's 5 players we're going to be talking about today in and out of the club, so it'd be interesting to see what you guys think of these transfer possibles, these rumours and so on. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of these, and let's jump into the first player. Right, so Timo Werner, the first player. For me, this is a must. He is obviously going to be tracked by all the big clubs currently. Everybody wants him. He's one of the hottest strikers in the world in terms of how cheap he is for how many goals he contributes. I believe at the moment his release clause is literally less than £50 million. I think Premier League clubs and all other clubs obviously only have the next 12 days to actually trigger this transfer release clause, which seems mental if no one does. The fact that you could pick up a striker who scored the third most goals across the world this season for less than £50 million, which obviously is going to be or €50 million, whatever way they look at it, which is going to be quite mad. Obviously, we understand that the transfer market is going to decrease because of the current climate of the world. Players are not going to be selling for Neymar sort of 200 million prices at the moment, based on the idea that a lot of clubs maybe won't have the money to fund this idea, just through the financial difficulties they've been through recently. And it may also mean that a lot of players are going off cheap, like this Werner. And for me, he's a must-sign for Chelsea. He's a player they've got to pursue until it can't be done. I'd pay anything. I certainly would at least tell them the release clause is already paid. I would have told them that a long time ago. Yes, Tammy had a good season, but he does need help. He can't be scoring all the goals, and Werner is an absolute bagsman, a clinical goal scorer. And for so cheap, I feel like this is an absolute necessity. Let me know what you guys think. And I don't think he'll come to Chelsea. I think he'll probably end up at a different team. The likes of maybe Liverpool might snap him up just because he may have possibly, at current moment in time, more chance of winning a trophy, obviously because they are already current Champions League holders and Premier League champions to be. They're probably going to, if there is a reason that maybe takes him, it won't be money, because I think obviously Roman Abramovich has got the money. It'll probably be the idea of trophies, but I feel like it's a building process at Chelsea at the moment. We're only getting better, and we need these players to put us to that next level to keep up with teams such as Liverpool. Now, the hottest young prospect in the world up for sale, apparently. Dortmund are actually saying maybe he's not up for sale. Jadon Sancho. Dortmund have said they don't believe he will leave the club in the summer. However, it has been massively rumoured ever since he had started playing well, and obviously he has been all season, including his hat-trick at the weekend just gone, that he will be leaving and going to a big club. Obviously, all the names are mentioned, the likes of the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, your Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. They've all been mentioned. I think it's highly unlikely he'll go back to Manchester City, where he was, just because Pep is Pep, not obviously the reason he left, but I don't know whether Pep would play him based on how he's currently treating Leroy Sané, with obviously being an amazingly talented player that he is. And obviously he's not even making the team, so it's kind of a tough one. I don't think City is on the cards for him. I just feel like he wouldn't get enough game time there. I want to say Chelsea is, and Chelsea is one of his boyhood club, as they say. He said this multiple times in multiple interviews, so I feel like I've got a lot of hope here. He's going to be the expensive one, probably in the 80-90 million sort of mark, and that's if Dortmund even sell him. They are saying they're not looking at it. For me, whoever buys him is less than 100 mil. It's going to be about 80-90 mil in my opinion. It's a necessity. Whoever gets him has done amazing bits of business, because I feel like he's just going to, as much as he's flourished at Dortmund, he's just going to flourish even more and become this world-class footballer that he has the potential to be at one of the big teams across the world. Obviously, Dortmund are already a big team, but not as big as the likes of the Premier League big boys that are looking for him at the moment. I feel like this transfer could depend maybe on where Timo Werner goes. I don't think Werner and Sancho will end up at the same team, even though like every team are going for both players. I highly doubt they'll end up at the same team. So maybe if Liverpool got Werner, Chelsea and Man United would be more in with a chance of Sancho. Or if Liverpool got Sancho, maybe Man United and Chelsea would be more in a chance with Werner. You know the idea I'm saying. For me, I'd love to see him at Chelsea. Fantastic player. I love watching him. He has so much ability and so much potential. Not sure if he'll come though. It's a tough one. He's linked with a lot of clubs, but I hope. I can hope. Now, this is a player I think Chelsea will actually end up signing. Nicolas Tagliafico. Now, obviously, currently of Ajax, had a fantastic few years there. Especially while they've flourished, obviously, with their Champions League performance last season. And obviously, they have won the league this season. They've been huge. They've been a massive success story recently of all their young players. Obviously, the likes of Frenkie de Jong and De Ligt moving on to obviously the likes of Barcelona and Juventus. Ziyech, obviously, we have already signed, ready in the summer. So I feel like Tagliafico could be a good bit of business, especially as you already have that link-up play with Ziyech already in. And that could be amazing for Chelsea, to have a solid week in, week out left-back. Like Tagliafico already has that link to Ziyech, who's maybe even playing as maybe a left centre attacking midfielder player, so they could have that link-up play down the left-hand side. I feel like it could be really nice to see, and I feel that this is definitely a possible one just based on the idea of Ziyech already being there. I feel like he's got more chance of coming because he already knows people, he's already integrated with the club. I like the idea of it, and if Chelsea pull this one off, it's rumoured that Marina, the woman that does Chelsea's main transfer business, could manage to pull Tagliafico and Ziyech in for less money than we sold Morata for. So for me, that's a bargain. That's less than 50 mil. So you're looking at Tagliafico probably being about 20 million, and that for me, for a very talented left back, it seems like a bit of a bargain. I feel like he could only strengthen the defence and would only be a good signing. I don't see how this could be a negative in any way. I feel like he only brings positives to the team. So I like the idea of this one. And this has also got a high chance of happening. So hopefully we'll be seeing him in a Chelsea shirt pretty soon. Now this is one I am quite excited about the idea of. I know a lot of Chelsea fans aren't. This has been rumoured for quite a while now about Philippe Coutinho maybe coming to Chelsea, possibly on a loan deal to start with the option to buy afterwards. Now I am for this. A lot of Chelsea fans aren't because they don't want the building of players such as Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek to be held back, and I don't think this would do that. I really, really don't. I feel like they'd all be rotated very fairly. I know what Lampard is trying to do. He's trying to use the youth and show that youth can be used. And with the amazing youth system that Chelsea has. But I feel like Coutinho could just add a bit of something. I love watching him play. I loved him when he was at Liverpool. I love watching him at Barcelona. I love watching him for Bayern Munich. I just love watching him play football. He's so creative. He has such a unique sort of skill set. He's the cut in from the right-hand side onto the right foot to ping it top bins. You know it's coming, but you can't stop it. I just feel like he'd fit in nicely. Like, I imagine him and Kovacic's link-up play, Kante or Jorginho sitting, and obviously then Mount, Loftus-Cheek all thrown in there into the mix. It's just filthy. It's so nice to think about. And obviously Ziyech now in there as well. Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi. It'd just be a filthy, filthy attack. I feel like this is a good one, especially if it's a loan deal with no sort of obligation. The chance to buy is there, but you're not obligated to obviously make sure you do buy him. It's just the opportunity is there. I feel like this is a no-brainer for me. I'd like to see this, and it's just got a high chance of happening. So maybe he will be put on the Chelsea shirt. The only thing that maybe thinks he doesn't is the idea that we've just signed Ziyech, so maybe he wouldn't get as much game time as he probably is looking to get if he does go to another top team. And lastly, we have a player possibly going out, which I very, very heavily disagree with. There's been a lot of talk about Jorginho possibly leaving the club, going back to Italy, maybe to Juventus, or Inter Milan or Napoli. I believe have all had contact with him. I believe Barcelona have as well. I'm just not a fan of this. I think he's brilliant. I really, really like Jorginho, and I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't. I know a lot of rival fans think he's weak, and I just think he's brilliant. I really, really like Jorginho, and he's one of my favourite players. He really has become a leader in the team. He shows drive. He always wants to win the ball. He wants to win games. He shows the passion required to wear the shirt. I don't see the agenda of him not wanting him there. I don't get it. For me, this would be a massive loss to the squad, especially. It's just bad. It's just bad business if we sell him, in my opinion. I just don't like the idea of it at all. I'm really hoping this doesn't happen. I'm hoping he pulls on that number 5 jersey and absolutely spanks at the Premier League again next season, and obviously in these remaining games for the rest of the season. He can't leave. In my opinion, this is a no, absolutely not happening. And if it does, that's a big, big mistake. Right guys, so that was my thoughts on Chelsea's transfer targets and the possibility of things maybe happening in this summer. If there's anything I've missed, please let me know in the comments. And if you've got any ideas or thoughts on the ones I've spoke about, please also let me know in the comments where you think some of these players might be going in the summer. I'd be interested to see. Thank you very much for watching, and drop a like if you have enjoyed. Thank you for your support on yesterday's video, the Blackout Tuesday video. You guys really supported that well, and it was received really well. I know a lot of you signed the petition from the description, so that's really appreciated. Thank you if you did do that. It meant a lot. It's a topic that I feel strongly about what's going on at the minute, so it's nice to see that did really well on the channel. I think it hit 100 views now, so that's fantastic. Thank you for your support. Subscribe if you are new around here. We've had plenty of new subscribers in the last few days, so if this is your first time, welcome, and hopefully stick around for more. Thank you for watching, and peace.
I'm falling, the cityscape by night. Wanna catch in my photos where you go. Every corner twice as bright. They'll be my treasures forever when I can't hold